Yeah, and actually I understand that Miami or Basel was meant to emigrate somewhere else, to Los Angeles or something like that, but I think it's actually they're quite successful. I believe that if Miami or Basel stops, I think something else will replace it. I think if they go away, someone else is going to come, because it's been very exciting, and I think they do very well. I mean, every year more public comes here, more thousands and thousands of people participate, and I think the galleries sell very well. And people love to come here in the winter. I mean, I don't know, this is amazing. This is the summer, isn't it? I mean, so I think if that happens, there will be still many reasons for Miami to flourish artistically. If you think about it, I mean, when I go to these fairs, of course, I try to go to as much as possible. And I find this year, I didn't spend enough time in Art Basel because there were so many other exciting art fairs around. Some of them are fringy, but I also am interested in things that are a little bit less, established and so forth. So I think, I mean, I don't think there is any other place in the world at the moment that has so many fairs parallel to each other, which I think is almost too much. But it just shows that there is a potential there for more and more and more. So I mean, just, I don't think it's going to go away, honestly. And I think every year it gets better. Every year museums take on the challenge, and so it's a synergy that I don't think is going to stop easily.
There are a lot of private collections here. Do you work together, or do you? What's the relation between?
Well, I mean, as far as working together, we don't, but we do respect each other a lot, and we kind of complement. We see each other as complements. I mean, that's at least the way Ella Fontanals, Cisneros, and myself view the situation. I mean, I love Margulies' collection, for example. I think they have great works, but they do a very different. I mean, we make an emphasis for making a really beautiful show. He actually really buys very intensively and makes these exhibitions, and the Rubel have this kind of thematic approach, more kind of, they have Los Angeles surveys and Polish art and so forth. So they have a very interesting impact, and Rosa La Cruz does their own things. And then there are other ones who are more signed. I mean, one of the things we try to do is, for example, if I'm going to buy a video by Amri Sala, I make sure that I phone and say, do you have by any chance that video in your collection? Because I think I don't want to show the one you have. And sometimes we discover wonderful artists from each other. So I don't see us so much as kind of these competitors fighting against each other, but I see as this kind of situation where we like to have as much complexity as possible, and that, the more the better. That's the way I think it should be.
The foundation, when was it founded?
I mean, this foundation is relatively young, though Ella has been collecting for many, many years. Because then she founded what's called MAC, Miami Art Central. That was a contemporary museum in Coral Gables that she joined and united with Mom. So CIFO really for 5 years. And this space, we founded it 3 years ago. And it was the first time that Ella's collection was actually launched publicly. And then the programs of CIFO, we started doing them in other spaces in the design district, and then now they moved here. So it's a relatively young foundation, but it was a very long-standing dream that Ella had to create a kind of a center where we could also give an opportunity to contemporary Latin American art in a platform which is not kind of a niche, but is a place of an international kind of dialogue where we can give opportunities to people, and then also to do this very international thing, because the collection is not Latin America. I mean, we have a lot of Latin America, but we have is basically completely broad and contemporary.
Do you know how many pieces of art you have in the collection?
People always ask me that, but I never answer the question. I just find that, quantifying a collection in terms of the item it has, I just don't feel very comfortable with that. I feel more comfortable with the fact that, we collect strongly on video, we collect very strongly on photography, especially devoted to architecture. And then we have a historical aspect of the collection which is related to geometric abstract art in Latin America. And then we collect installation art and so forth. You can actually see here there is a very vast array of material. So the focus is very broad, though there is a certain spirit to the collection which is maintained in a specific way.
And where do you store the artwork?
Well, we actually just move all the collection to the former building of MAC in one of the floors, and it's wonderful now to have the works there that we can actually study them, and we can do everything that we need to do in terms of maintaining the collection in really where our offices are. But the challenge is that that the more you buy, the more space you need. So I'm sure that in a couple of years we'll have to revise that again.
Do you have time to relax a little bit now after Art Basel maybe each week, or do you have already new projects?
Well, I mean, we never stop. I mean, first of all, after Art Basel, you need to follow up on all the acquisition and all the things you found that it was so wonderful. You need to do all the research, and then it coincides the end of the year. You want to also go on holidays, so you need to kind of make sure that you have all your programs and all your things lined up and clear in a way. It's a good moment to revise after Art Basel. You know how we've done this year. What we want to do. For example, every year when we decide on the exhibition for the following year, we want to understand how was the public perception of what we did and what is the challenge that lies ahead of us for the next year. And then, yeah, I mean, you do relax and you actually, you know, you begin Art Basel and you're so excited about it, and then on Sunday you're just like, you know, good that it closes at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and I go home.